We continue our reading of Lest We Forget by author George R. Knight. Today's reading, January 9. Happy birthday. The joy of discovery. And I went unto the angel and said unto him, Give me the little book. And he said unto me, Take it and eat it up, and it shall be in thy mouth sweet as honey. Revelation 10:9. Revelation 10 is a fascinating interlude in the flow of the seven trumpets. From an examination of Revelation 9:13 and Revelation 11:15 to 18, it is clear that Revelation 10 takes place between the sixth and seventh trumpets. It is also obvious that the sounding of the seventh trumpet has to do with events of the second advent, when the kingdoms of this world are become the kingdoms of our Lord and of his Christ, and then he shall reign forever and ever. Revelation 11:15. The focal point of chapter 10 is a little book, verses 2 and 8 to 10. That the verb tense, verse 2, indicates will be unsealed or opened up in the context of the chapter at the end of time. Now, the Old Testament tells us of only one book that will be sealed until the end of time. But thou, O Daniel, shut up the words and seal the book, even to the time of the end. Many shall run to and fro, and knowledge of the book of Daniel shall be increased. Interestingly enough, the book of Daniel has only two parts that it explicitly states would remain sealed until the time of the end. One has to do with the 1260-year time prophecy of chapter 12, see verse 7 to 9. The other is Daniel 8:26, in which we read, The vision of the evenings and mornings that had been given you is true. But seal up the vision, for it concerns the distant future. Joyce Baldwin, in her commentary on Daniel 12:4, perceptively notes that the reason why Daniel was to keep his last two visions sealed was that they were not yet relevant, chapter 8:26 and chapter 12:9, at least not in all their detail. As Leon Wood puts out in his commentary on Daniel, since the only mention in chapter 8 of an evening and morning is in verse 14, it must be that reference in verse 26 is to the 2300 evenings and mornings. It is also of interest that Gabriel explicitly tells Daniel twice that his vision of Daniel 8 would extend to the time of the end, verses 17 and 19. In the angel's explanation, 3 of the 4 symbols of Daniel 8 have their completion in history, verses 20 to 25, with only one, the 2300 days, being left for fulfillment at the end of time, verse 26. Miller perceived these things. Thus, he could indicate in a time chart in the Signs of the Times of May 1841 that Revelation 10 had been fulfilled and the little book had been opened. And sweet indeed was the opening. I need not speak of the joy that filled my heart in view of the delightful prospect of the soon coming of Jesus. The message of the sealed little book had been sweet indeed, but Miller, like most of us, cherished those parts of prophecy that he thought he understood and skipped over the rest. As a result, he somehow missed the conclusion that the opening of the prophecies of the little book would in the end bring bitterness and disappointment. Revelation 10:8 to 10. Lord, help us to learn to read with both eyes open. This concludes our reading today of Lest We Forget.